Welcome everyone to this third episode of the Privacy Rules Flash webinar series on COVID-19 response in the EU. I would like immediately to start our discussion with Gabriel, asking him, Gabriel, what would you advise to your client to do in this phase?
My suggestion would be to protect your employees' health. That's, as an employer, your main duty, and be transparent with them. Find a way to have a governance and regular communication to explain how you do it, how you process their data, how you're going to handle also the COVID-19 crisis, because it's stressful for everyone, not only for individuals, but also for businesses, because they might have to make lots of people redundant. So that's a stress for everyone. I would say keep communicating with them, be transparent. Also, again, follow the news. Just stick to what's necessary at the right time. Don't lower your guard. And I was explaining this at the end of the previous video, but there's a lot of attempt of phishing, data breaches, cyber attacks, and everyone in today with COVID-19 is vulnerable. We have opened a lot of weaknesses, because then we are a bit off guard. Don't lower your guard and keep maintaining the right security. If you use other tools, technology, just use ones that they are reliable, because otherwise you may put the privacy of your employees or even data of your business at risk. And that's not an option today, because privacy is not a priority for businesses. They need to do business and keep business continuity.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. And Geert, what from the Belgian standpoint?
Yes, I agree again that business continuity is important, but so is health. So I understand that a lot of businesses are worried about that. They don't want their workforce to get infected or visitors. They don't want to be accused of spreading the virus. So they are taking measures. But then again, everything should be adequate. I think it's important for businesses to keep calm. Reflect well on what they are doing, striking a balance between these urgency measures, let's say, and then on the other hand, the need to reflect on data protection. And my advice, or our advice to our clients, is there to document any steps you are taking based on the GDPR, but also based on the evolving advice of the Data Protection Authority, which we have seen has changed over time, also adapting to the circumstances, as some countries really got affected very heavily. So that's one thing. And then on the other hand, adapting to the changing circumstances by applying change management, by being creative, finding solutions that may be a win-win also. For example, we have a Belgian sugar factory that started to producing hand sanitizers based on raw materials that they had, and instead of their supply chain for sugar may have decreased, but all of a sudden they saw an opportunity. So this is also something that companies should be working on.
Thank you, Gert, for sharing. And Volker, what about Germany?
First of all, I think it's important that the employees' duty of care towards their employees is not as an excuse for collection of personal data and of health data, but that the employers remain with the GDPR principles, and as an example, do not collect private telephone numbers with the argumentation we need that for now this crisis, but really to focus on limitation of purpose when you collect personal data. So duty of care is very important, but doesn't allow broadly any collection of personal data as such. I think the second aspect is, and this is kind of a momentum that we have now, we move into a virtual world now in these days very quickly, and businesses are not prepared. they don't have the data protection agreements in place. They might use startup businesses that provide solutions that seem to be very adequate and fast and nice, but the personal data is not protected well. So please always check DPAs, check where are the businesses are placed. But of course, and this is, I think, something that we should use the momentum maybe to bring your business a lot further, jump up 2 steps in terms of digitalization, which comes to the third part, working from home. I think businesses that are kind of organized, decentralized, that have not one facility, but have employees working from different places, that have the ability to work on servers using VPN connections, secure connections, have very good situation at the moment. Those who don't, just think about those solutions. And of course, we as advisors recommend to have policies on working at home and so forth. And don't forget about the IT security.
Okay, Volker, thank you very much. And just one more question for all of you. What if companies lose all their revenues due to the crisis? Bernd, I would like to start with you and with the Belgian perspective.
We know that some companies won't be able to produce alternatives, like in the example given by Geert of the sugar factory. It is for sure that some companies will lose all their revenue, unfortunately. But if this happens to Belgian companies, like that they have to close down because of the crisis, they can request compensation from the regional governments, and they also won't have to dismiss employees because of the Belgium system of temporary unemployment benefits.
Volker, is it the same in Germany?
Well, there are now financial helping packages now that are on the way. It's about receiving the options for credits and to have support from the state bank. And when you work with personal data, don't forget that the data protection organization is important in every phase of your business. And even when business goes bad, this is very important.
Gabriel, what about Switzerland?
So in Switzerland, there was an announcement recently from the government saying that they would have 42 billion available to help businesses and for unemployment as well, because most of businesses are going to put their or have already put their employees into either technical unemployment or just partial employment, where they cannot just pay the salary for months with no revenue. So there's a huge help, but also it sounds great, but on the other hand, I think that there are some discussions because in a way the money available is also for the Confederation to caution, so to be responsible for bank credits. Those businesses will ask, and I'm not sure whether it's really a sustainable, move to do, and I don't know to what extent some businesses will not have to close before they can claim those aids from the businesses. I also very much agree with what Volker said. Privacy is always an asset, and if you mess with privacy, you may end up not really be able to sell your company, because it's a very good argument not to have breaches when you buy a company. We've seen this with Marriott Hotel. They bought a company, another hotel, and their privacy practices were just terrible, and then they had a breach. They saw the breach 7 years later, and that's not possible.
Dear all, thank you very much for joining us also in this third session of our webinar series. I really hope you enjoy listening to our experts, and I invite you all to follow us in order not to miss our final episode on the possible further steps to be taken in response to COVID-19, and of course to also see the previous episodes if you didn't yet. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again very, very soon.